What's up, bird brains? It's almost the season. Can you fucking believe it? I can't. We are less than 7 days away from trying to ruin Tom Brady Day, although I might have some thoughts about that, and people got bad about that, which is, why we're here anyway. I'm so excited that it's Vince Quinn, the Taylor Kredatus behind, all of the internet waves here. That is my belt and my shirt, if you're watching on YouTube, and it is fancy. Thank you very much for asking. Vince Quinn, how are you, sir?
Yeah, okay, so first off, I watched college football this weekend, which I never do.
Hey!
Yeah, I know. I did it. I watched college football. It shows how desperate I am for all this shit to get back. I watched a half of Colorado, so I did that.
A half?
Right.
You only watched a half of that game? That was the most exciting game of the weekend.
Yeah, I went outside. So I did that. And then what else did I do? I watched some of LSU and what was it, Florida State? Yeah, I watched some of that. So I watched some college ball, but that shit sucks. Pros is better, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
You
man.
didn't.
Give me NFL
hold
football.
on.
What?
You didn't watch Debo freaking sink down, losing to Duke, the number 6 overall team last year? Like, Duke beat Clemson last night. That's not exciting to you? College football is crumbling. We called this thing a year ago. It is awesome. Everything that we said is basically about to come true. Alabama's going to secede from the NCAA soon. This is all cooked up for you. Taylor, I can't believe this, man. There are so many good storylines for Vince to jump into, and he's still not on board.
That works for me. I mean, look, I always thought college football was an overrated product anyway, but to get to the point where, like, this whole thing was Pangea, and now it's breaking up into different continents, good. Fuck them. Like, the whole thing's cooked, and the SEC should be its own league. We said that last year. We dedicated a whole episode to it, and, like, that's where it should go. So, yeah, I'm glad they're finally catching up with my brain, and if the SEC wants to hire me as a commissioner, then they are welcome to do that. I accept bags of cash delivered late at night. So all of that works. But
they're used to doing that down there.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I would love to have, like, a really nice car that I don't deserve and unspeakable money. So anytime you want to hire me, let's go for it. But otherwise, until it happens, I'm bored. So, regular season. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, speaking of things that people don't like, it's perfect timing because no one liked my thoughts on the Eagles' win-loss record this morning. Did you happen to see that on the old Twitter.com? Oh, yes, Taylor Kredatus. Perfect timing for YouTube.
Taylor's pulling it up now. I'll tell you this. I look at your first pick, and it fucking sucks, dude. That's a terrible pick. How on God's earth are you looking at a team as bad as the Patriots and going, yes, the Eagles are going to lose to that absolutely dog shit team that they hate with every fiber of their being? How do they lose that game?
So the hilarious thing is, like, all morning, this has been completely overanalyzed to the point. Yeah, Taylor's seeing it, scrolling down on YouTube if you're watching on here. Just nothing but hate. I actually thought this was, like, one of the most positive outcomes that I could muster up this morning in terms of, like, where do I see this season going? 11 wins, 6 losses, winners of the division because they're going to sweep and nobody's going to fucking beat them. And they're going to lose to some stupid teams and they're going to lose to some good teams because that's how a post-Super Bowl season usually goes. It's not going to be like all gung-ho in the beginning. Everybody's going to count them out in the first 4 weeks. And then they'll end up, ripping 4 off and that's it. And I have them going to the NFC Championship game and losing because that's just what I feel like that's where we're just going to end up again. And by the way, it's kind of how I felt last year. Is just a lot. I just knew they were going to the Super Bowl because, A.J. Brown was new and Jordan Davis was new. I can't wait for this bitch over here to be so not worried about Kyle Hamilton in about 2 years. And, that's part of this. So, like, why is losing to the Pats that crazy, by the way? It's Tom Brady Day. Bill Belichick is going to blitz Jalen Hurts all of the time, is my guess. And it's the NFL. You think they're going to not try and celebrate Tom Brady and Bill Belichick one more time? The fix is in. 4.5? Nah, that's just too kooky for me. That's all. I just feel like this could be one of those very weird, everyone's too hyped and it's the opening day loss in New England. I'm sorry.
Yeah, too kooky from you is pod calling the kettle black, all right? You okay, losing to the Patriots is absurd. Yeah, they have no wide receiving core to speak of, and it is Tom Brady Day, but it's featuring Mac Jones. They're not good enough. The Eagles are way better suited to dominate that team, and they're going to do it. So I'm not worried about that. They're going to win that game. And, like, as I'm looking at your predictions, though, I see dude, You of all people having the Eagles lose to the Cardinals and not think that people would riot about that is insane. Of course,
but because they just look at the Cardinals and they go, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's a team tanking." What happened last year with the Houston Texans at the end of the year? What happened? They won a game. Why? Because Lovie Smith was fucking pissed, and he's like, "Fuck you guys. This is on my way out." Jonathan Gann is going to feel the same way. That's his Super Bowl. It's in between two Giants games, of course. And no, everybody's going to be mad at that, but that's the way my brain thinks. Okay, like. It's at home, knowing that no one is expecting that to be a loss. Hence why it's a loss, because I don't know. I just think they're going to keep continually to beat the shit out of the Giants and not worry about the Cardinals and whoopsie daisy, or that's where like Marcus Mariota has to start and it's just really bad, like we've just seen this too many times at the end of the year. That. Something weird. Yeah, something weird's going to happen. That's all. That's what that pick is.
You're painting a much better picture now that you talk about it. Like it's a more convincing argument. I still don't believe you. Yeah, but,
right.
I don't agree with you at all.
That's how this game works.
I can see it a lot more.
I get it. You're still full of shit. Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is. So that I think which should be an alternate name of this podcast is I get it, but you're still full of shit.
Well, do you agree? Because this is the other thing that people got me on. I don't have them lose or winning against the AFC East. So, like, I think they narrowly lose to the Jets, but I also think Aaron Rodgers is out for the season after that game. Just a reminder. And then, I just the Tua Hurts thing will be too fucking ridiculous, and I just think they edge one out because of Tyreek Hill last minute or something like that. I got them losing to the Bills. And then I got them losing to the Seahawks because it's always fucking weird between birds on birds. Bird versus bird, it's weird. Always has been, especially the Seahawks. So, and they're good. They're kind of good. The Seahawks are kind of good.
Well, yeah, they're kind of good. I mean, I don't know what to make of them, really. So, yeah, like, whatever. I don't mind Seattle as much. The Bills I get. Like, Jets, Dolphins, I can understand one of those games. I don't think they lose both. I definitely don't think they lose to the Patriots. But it's funny how we look at this because, like, I went through it in my head, right? Last year, I looked at this team. I went, they're the best team in the conference. I think the fucking roster's unbelievable. The schedule is not very good. And they're going to go 15-2. That was my prediction last year. I said 15-2. They ended up 14-3. And I'm looking at it this year, and I go, okay, well, if this team goes 12-5, I think it's more impressive than the 14-3 of last year. And that's the biggest thing for me because the quality of schedule matters, right? And I think that's what people don't appreciate when they think about where this team's going to be this year. They were in the Super Bowl. I do think they're still going to be great. I don't expect them to have a drop-off, but the quality of competition that you play is so much better. Like Jacksonville, they almost lost that game. Indy, they almost lost that game. Arizona, they did almost lose that game. We watched all of it. Like, it happened. So they were able to come back and win those games where you're going to be able to have, like, fourth quarter miracle drives 3-4 separate times in the season when you are playing, Giants twice who are going to be better this year than they were last year. Seattle, 49ers, Cowboys, Bills. Commanders will be better this year because they're not sad. Jets, Dolphins. Like, it's just a better slate of games. So I think you're going to lose games that you should lose more likely than not. You're going to have those boneheaded plays and the things that come up. They cost you games. It happens all the time. Nobody predicts for it. It's just a fact of life, though. So, yeah, I think they're a 12-5 team. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, you look at some of the things that go into this. There are complications. As much as I love this team and can talk about some of, like, the really exciting things,
Yeah.
The offensive line depth, once you get into it, is not good, right? Like, Jack Driscoll has looked like absolute shit. Tyler Steen's a rookie. Opeta is, like, just a guy. They've got Fred Johnson, who's a journeyman. Like, they're not deep there. They've got guys in their 30s. Mailata's had some injuries. It's not a lock that they're healthy all season the way they pretty much were all of last year. Slay and Bradbury in their 30s. Brandon Graham in his 30s. Reddick's thumb is fucked up. Like, there's stuff. You know what I mean? So you just look at it and I go, okay, are they still the best team in the conference? Sure. Are they playing probably the best division in the NFL in the AFC East? Yes. Are they playing their division, which is a lot better this year than last year? Yes. Like, all these things pile up. In 12-5, like, they were the worst strength of schedule in the league last year. Like, the easiest, and they are the hardest this year. So 12-5 means a lot. I think that's a huge win.
Yeah, and I don't care about the led in the exact total either. As long as you win the division and have, mostly home field advantage, and it sucks you got to play the extra game. And I just think that's the difference this year. Is just you're not going to have the ultimate bye, and you're not going to have that one seed. I hope I'm wrong on that. I hope the rest of to me, people are yelling at me because I think they sweep the division. I think this division's terrible, and I think they can handle the Giants. The Giants are going to be, again, hashtag my Giants, are going to be way better again this year. I'm going to keep telling you. I hate to admit that, Daniel Jones and all that stuff, we made fun of him. I think $35 million is ridiculous, but shit, it's starting to look better and better. I would say, though, there's one thing that I think would erase my prediction and put it at 14 wins, which we're going to get to in a second. But I do need to tell you specifically that we know that there's not a lot of big time pep rally events. At least we haven't noticed any of them. So we were so excited when our friends past to present over in New Jersey. And Taylor, remind us of the address when you get a second too, because I want to make sure I'm giving everybody the right information. But we are going to be selling, if you're watching on YouTube, these hats there all season. I'd rather be watching the birds. Beautiful corduroy hats made from our good friend Nick over at Forbidden Canvas, and we're going to carry them on this year, so you can physically buy them at past to present, which we think is so freaking cool. It is one of the best vintage stores in the world, not just in New Jersey, not in this area. They have everything from wrestling to band t-shirts to whatever, and they, at the beginning of every Eagles season, which we didn't know is so cool, it's all vintage Eagles gear Saturday, the 10th, or the 9th, Friday, right? And the 10th, or the 10th and the 11th.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. It's just all
9th and
vintage birds gear, and not like the cool rebranded Kelly Green stuff we've been trying to chase down. It's maybe you'll find an old starter jacket. Maybe you'll find whatever. It's just a bunch of awesome Eagles treasures. We're going to be podcasting there. You can, we'll be giving away a hat, obviously. So definitely go follow us on Instagram at Bell the Bird for more information on that. And go follow Past to Present NJ, correct there, T?
Yeah, and it's at 127 Clements Bridge Road in Barrington.
Perfect. There you go. So we will see you there, and we will tell you exact time. But it goes on from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., pretty much all day, all night, wherever their store hours are. So it's going to be freaking amazing. And I don't know if you read the Tim McManus, Jalen Carter article, but it is just another piece, I think, for your noggin, Vince Quinn, of just we're all feeling this. Darius Slay's feeling this. I think he is one of the biggest reasons, but not the reason, one of the biggest reasons that it would change my mind from 11 to 14 wins. But you're all about Jalen Carter and this train that we're all on too, yeah?
Well, yeah, I had this moment where, I was doing some dumb shit. I was I don't know, cooking green beans or something. And it hit me just out of nowhere. I was like, you know what? Jalen Carter's going to fucking rule this year. This guy's going to totally take over. Because think about this, right? Here's one of the things that I've done that kind of calmed me down. I mean, one was all the stuff around him, all the legal shit. You've heard the stories. You know the situation. It's why he falls to 9. He ends up being an Eagle. So you're just kind of okay, who is this guy and what is he about and how's he going to fit in? So all that happens. The rest of the team's great. Everybody's sleepy. There's no major arguments except punter, which doesn't matter. So all this stuff, everything with Jalen Carter goes under the radar. I mean, we didn't even see that guy's jersey at the team store. We went there for the Kelly Greens every single time. He's not in Kelly Green. I honestly don't know if I saw him in Midnight Green. I really don't know. So everything around him and a guy of his stature has devalued or makes it seem like it's lower than what he actually is to this team. And that's why when you look around, all these guys, the great players in NFL history, great defensive tackles, highly drafted, their sack totals aren't very high. And the difference here is he's on an elite defensive line. He's not drafted to a bad defensive line with the idea that he needs to turn these guys around and he's going to get all the attention and the double teams and all that stuff right off the bat. It's quite the opposite, right? Hassan Reddick is on this team. He's going to get a lot of attention. Josh Sweat is on this team. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis. They're going to rotate all these different guys in. The depth is there. So, he's going to be fresh. He's going to be in a lot of one-on-one situations. And because of that, he's going to blow up. There's no reason to believe that Jalen Carter can't get 8 sacks this year, which is absolutely unheard of for a rookie defensive tackle. There's no reason he can't do it. because everything lays out for him to be that way, that kind of player, that kind of stat. Because look at the production on the offense, right? What is this team going to do? They're going to put up 1 million points. They're one of the best offenses in the NFL. Nothing should really change about that. If anything, it should be more dynamic in the passing game because they get all the different audibles and things. So they're just going to have more variety. Jalen gets more command. And with that, you're going to get more points. So big leads, the ability to rush downhill, all that kind of stuff. Like, he's just in such a prime situation to be in that I aimed low before because I just kind of got lulled to sleep. But I'm ready, man. Now that it's here, it's time, and this guy's going to be huge.
Yeah, he is. And I'm not trying to downplay the hype at all, 100%, because he is probably going to win you some games big time when the offense is struggling or what. He does remind me a ton of, like, Fletch's mentality when he came in. And this could just be a misremembering, but I do remember Fletch those first 2 years, some major penalties along with some like major highlights. And I feel Jalen's going to probably lose you some games too, just because of the inexperience. But I think he has 12 sacks. So like no one's going to care, So it's just I am overhyped about Jalen Carter. But Vince Quinn, I buried the leads specifically just to get to this point. Do you really want to know why they're going to win 14 games? Will change my mind. There was a major rule that came down on Monday. Did you see it? It got clarified, and boy, oh boy, I'm going to be fucking right. And everybody's been called me Looney Tunes for 3 years, and the QB3 rule. Oh my God, did you see the beauty of this rule and what is going to happen now?
I saw you say something in the Discord about Tanner McKee, but it was Labor Day, and I was like, fuck this, I'm not looking at my phone. So I threw it away.
So the ultimate question, when I always have said all offseason, when you put Mariota and Hurts, well, John, why would you risk your backup quarterback? Because he's the only one that's allowed to be active. If something happens to him, oh man, you're in a completely different situation until now. Because Tanner McKee can be active even though he's not active. It's the beautiful. I want to thank the San Francisco 49ers for seeing my vision and actually probably helping the Philadelphia Eagles. That means when the inactives come out, as long as Tanner McKee is a part of that inactive list, that part of the 53, reserved for guys that are on the practice squad, and he is an active member, non-practice squad fella, he is technically still active if Mariota and Hurts go down. We're back, baby! Are you kidding me? We're going to have Mariota and Hurts packages. I'm calling it. It's why everything was so vanilla. It is coming. I am putting my triple down, quadruple down. 2 QBs are coming in the city of Philadelphia, and you're going to see it this year because of that rule. What do you think?
Yeah, look, Marcus Mariota is more useful as a gadget quarterback, running back than he is as a backup quarterback. So why not? Like, run him into the ground. Who cares? I'm not worried if Mark Mariota gets hurt as the backup quarterback. At that point, you're fucked anyway. It doesn't matter. So, like, play him. Yeah, who cares? Let's go.
14 wins. They beat 3 out of the 4 of the AFC East if that package is in there this year. And exactly right. I know this sounds absurd what Vince Quinn just said, but it's 1 year, $5 million, and he doesn't throw the football. He's basically RB5 that can throw.
Wait, hold on. I gotta refresh here on what you've said now through this show, because what you're telling me is Marcus Mariota as a rotational running back playing quarterback as
rotational QB2. Thank you.
Sure, and whatever you want to call it. You're telling me that Marcus Mariota is a difference of 3 wins on the season for this team.
You cannot stop that in the red zone. You cannot stop that within the 10. If you combined the 92% push with Marcus Mariota, and I'll even fuck the 10, in the 20, if you put that package in the 20 forward, you are not going to be able to stop it. You won't. I'm telling you, it'll be the 92% play for the red zone. Guaranteed. Fucking, I will end this podcast if it's not true. I know that's not entirely true, but maybe. And if it comes true, I'm ending the podcast because I don't need to prove anything more about football. But I really
do. He comes in, he throws like 6 picks, and he's sailing the ball through the uprights. Like, he just looks awful, and it costs them touchdowns.
Time to put Tanner McKee QB2. Let's go.
Goes right in, keep the roll going. Yeah, just put Tanner McKee in there. All right. We have a game plan.
So, let us know what you think. Jump in our Discord. We've been having some fantastic, well, really ridiculous debates. Can I tell you what Barney's drummed up? Again, we're arguing about what is the percentage throw by the end of the year? A pass to run ratio. Sorry, that's a simpler way to say it. Everybody's arguing about 60% passing, and it's just, I hate these stats. Can I just tell you that? Like, I hate them because run attempts mean scrambles, and it factors into how much you run per game, and it's just like, I don't know. It's absurd. So I don't care. I think they're going to generally throw 70% of the game in November when they're facing the better teams, because you're going to have to. But that was my only take. So
they're going to throw more. Everything leads towards them throwing more. I mean, I just have, like, you look at DeAndre Swift, his value as a receiver. Miles Sanders was not a good receiver. I think that's going to change things a lot. So you're going to see a lot of Swift. Same thing with Gainwell and all that. Like, great pass catchers, that's going to be a thing. So, yeah, they're Jalen with more control in the offense. And, like, look, here's the other part, too. Thinking about this season, like, kind of getting ahead a little bit of, like, expectations for this Sunday and beyond. I don't think they want to run Jalen Hurts as much. They should. They should keep running him the same, but I think their natural inclination is going to be, we don't want to preserve this guy, and we're not going to run him as much. So I'm curious if they're willing to do that. And I think his passing numbers are going to be a little higher because of it.
And that's, honestly, I think that's why those growing pains are going to exist. Because when you try and, it's the one thing that kind of scares me a little bit, and that's kind of like more Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni, is, hey, we want Jalen as healthy as possible, just like you said, and they kind of go away from that for the first 4 or 5 weeks. I'm not like that worried about it because of what you said. DeAndre Swift looks like that dude, and Penny isn't running for a reason. It's he either sucks or they're preserving him too. So,
I think
yeah, I would say cautious for it. I am ready to be surprised by what the offense does, honestly, and I think we're going to be majorly surprised on what Desai does early on here too, to save some of these games. So we will definitely get into that Thursday, Friday. I got to be honest with you guys too. I don't know if a hype video is going to be possible before it, because we just got so many things before LA. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but just know it's coming at some point when we desperately need it. So Vince, Quinn, Taylor, anything before we get out of here?
Greg Ward got cut. It's a travesty. Burn the whole roster down.
I did want to mention, if Jalen Hurts scores, what was it, 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns within the first 5 weeks, he will pass Cam Newton as the fastest to that mark. Correct, Steve? What did we see today?
Rushing touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Taylor Kredatus has been absolutely dead on that. He's a stat hawk and expect a lot of that too. So who knows? Let's see what plays out. Do they conserve him or do they go for the record? And if they go for it, I think Taylor's right. So
he's going. We all know it.
That is Vince Quinn over here. If you're looking, I am John Barchard here. If you're listening, please don't ever look at me. And Taylor Kredatus, beautiful as always. Tie your hood wherever you are, sir. We will see you on the next episode, and we'll see you there too, guys. Bye.